Thank you. Is News.ru with us?
Maria Vladimirovna, hello. News.ru
afternoon.
welcomes you. We have two questions for you. The first one sounds like this. How can you comment on Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan's accusatory statements against the CSTO? Just the other day, he mentioned that allegedly in the 20th year, when preparing the war in Karabakh against Armenia, there were two countries that were engaged in imitation assistance to Armenia. Do you know who he was referring to, and how can you comment on such statements?
Remember, there was such a song, and in it the phrase, "My beloved darling, guess for yourself." I'm, frankly, interested in what countries the Armenian Prime Minister was talking about. Are we all supposed to guess by ourselves, or will they tell us later? It seems to me it would be quite logical to voice them if we are talking about such serious statements, but let's leave that to official Yerevan. As for Russia, it has done everything possible and Russian President Vladimir Putin spoke about it. He spoke about it on October 17th of the 20th year on Russian television, direct quote, so that Armenia would not feel abandoned and forgotten. Everything was done to make sure that it happened exactly as the Russian president said it would. Now let me remind you what was done and how it was done. Literally from the first days of the armed conflict in the fall of year 2020, the Russian side undertook the most active political and diplomatic efforts to achieve a ceasefire. Those who have forgotten can recall. Literally, all the relevant statements and media reports were published step by step, literally so on both the Kremlin.ru website and the website of the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Among other things, each step was also accompanied by official comments, including from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of our country. Let me remind you that at that time, there were numerous telephone conversations between the President of Russia and the President of Azerbaijan and the Prime Minister of Armenia. After the negotiations organized by the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov with the Armenian and Azerbaijani foreign ministers, which took place on the 10th of October of the 20th year, an initial ceasefire was announced. Let me remind you that the possible conclusion of a ceasefire agreement was back in October of the year 20. Then the President of Russia persuaded the President of Azerbaijan to stop the war. The latter was ready to go for it. But the Prime Minister of Armenia, Nikol Vavayevich Pashinyan, insisted on the continuation of hostilities. What did it lead to? It led to the capture of Shusha, which opened the road to Stepanakert as well. Everyone remembers this very well, and it is all documented. Thanks to the personal involvement of the Russian president, it was possible to bring the parties to the signing of the trilateral statement of November 9, 2020. This statement declared a complete ceasefire. This document and the trilateral agreements of the leaders of the three countries, which were reached between the years 21 and 22, remain an alternative roadmap for a sustainable Armenian-Azerbaijani normalization process.